Welcome to Atheists Talk. I'm your host tonight, George Kane. Tonight we're going to be discussing the Freethought Toastmasters Club. Freethought Toastmasters is part of Toastmasters International, which is the world's largest all-volunteer organization devoted to training in public speaking and leadership. Toastmasters International currently has 313,000 members and 14,650 clubs in 126 countries. And it's been in operation for 90 years, and I believe it's 3 million people have gone through the Toastmasters program. With me tonight are the two top officers of Freethought Toastmasters. Hegi is the chair of the board of Minnesota Atheists, but she's also the president of the Freethought Toastmasters Club. And Ron Lindeman is the second officer in Freethought Toastmasters. He's the vice president for education. So, Heather and Ron, tell us about the Freethought Toastmasters Club.
Well, I joined Freethought Toastmasters in fall of 2012, I think. And I joined it after becoming chair of Minnesota Atheists. I wanted to refine my speaking skills and build more leadership and ultimately confidence. And it has definitely built my confidence up, getting to give speeches and be in the different roles that we have in Toastmasters.
Ron?
I joined in November of 2012. And I've probably, since that time, I've given about 15 speeches, usually speeches about 5 to 7 minutes. And it's really valuable to be able to speak in front of a group, to organize your thoughts, to prepare a speech and to give an outline of it, and then kind of understand the people's reaction. How well a communicator are you? You know, you ask questions later. Did it come through? You know, what worked and what didn't? And we're always giving evaluations as well at Toastmasters. That you know, you give a speech and then somebody, you know, does a review or evaluates what you did, and so we can get a feedback on how well you did and what worked and what didn't.
Right. Everything in a Toastmasters meeting is evaluated.
Right. So we have an idea when we make mistakes, when we do good, and how we can improve, and that's the improvement is the best part of that.
And what goes on in a Freethought Toastmasters meeting?
Well, the first time that I attended one as a guest, I actually thought it was fairly formal, in which you had a schedule, you followed the schedule, you introduced the roles, you had the speeches, you had some round robin table topics in which you get to talk amongst each other, and then the evaluations and closing. But since becoming a member, I've realized that it's really not super formal. Our group is fairly laid back, and we will change rules as necessary at the beginning of the meeting to make sure the meeting does run smooth, but it is overall pretty laid back and easygoing, and people don't judge, which is really nice and helps build your confidence.
Right, that's something I'd like to stress is that, and really it's true of all Toastmasters clubs, but they're very supportive. That when you're in a Toastmasters club, all of the other members of the club want you to succeed. And one display of the supportiveness of Toastmasters club is that we do a lot of applauding.
Exactly, right before every speech and after every speech, we applaud. No matter how well it went or how well it didn't go, and you know, everybody who starts out, you know, is kind of green. They don't really always know what to do, but once you've done the roles and you've gone through all the things about doing a meeting, you know, that we've done it enough times is repetition. you get to be good at it. You know, like each of the role of timer, you kind of can pace how long your speech is taking, because you've timed other people's speeches. And the same thing with the counter and the grammarian. You know, once you're listening to other people's, because it's not just about speaking, it's about communicating. We want to listen. We want to learn how to listen, and that's part of the table topics. Is there's maybe 4 people at a table, and you have to add to the conversation, but you have to listen to what the other person's saying and develop your thoughts at the same time. So it really works out to be a good system.
Right. That everything in the meeting is evaluated, and being an evaluator forces you to develop listening skills. Evaluations come in different ways. The prepared speeches have their own evaluators, but then there's a grammarian who listens to grammar and both praises good use of English and also criticizes errors that are made, points them out, I should say, not really criticize them. Mm-hmm. A timer who lets people know if they have not met the timing standards of the meeting. An counter is usually not anyone's favorite.
Well, what about the history of Toastmasters?
The Freethought Toastmasters Club, that was very interesting. I was the one who came up with the idea of starting a Toastmasters Club for Minnesota atheists. There are 2 kinds of Toastmasters clubs. There are community clubs and there are company clubs. And my idea originally was that this would be a company club, that Minnesota Atheists would be the company, and the only way that a person could join would be to be a member of Minnesota Atheists. And I paid the fee that allows the club to organize. And that was in 1998, I believe. Unfortunately, to form a club, you have to get up to 20 members, and we could never quite do it. We'd get up to 18 members and then fall back to 13, and we kept growing and declining within that range and never could get up to 20. So, well, one other aspect of it was that at every time there have been members of our club who have not been members of Minnesota Atheists. So that would have made it hard to make it a company club too, if the members aren't all, aren't all members of Minnesota Atheists. So in 1999 to the 2000 year, there was a district governor of District 6, which is the district that we're in. Mostly it's the state of Minnesota, who was an ardent Christian, and she heard about Freethought Toastmasters. We'd been trying to get formed from the year before, and she had said to other leaders in the district that this club would get formed over her dead body.
Oh.
So we were receiving no support from the district during this time. But I did get to know a couple of the other district leaders, and they let me know that there was another club that had only chartered, had only gotten started a few months before, and already the club was folding. And this was near to where we met. At that time, we were meeting at the Muffaletta Cafe, and this was Energy Park Toastmasters was the club. Mm-hmm. And the Energy Park Toastmasters was failing. So what our club did, I found out about this club through one of the other district leaders. And so what our club did was we had everyone in the club join Energy Park Toastmasters. And then we voted to move the meetings to Muffaletta Cafe, move the meeting time to Monday nights, first and third Monday nights, mm-hmm. and change the name to Freethought Toastmasters.
I didn't know you hijacked another club.
Yeah, so essentially that's the way we formed. Well, and the funny thing was, Here we had never been able to get up to 20 members. Within a month or so after becoming a chartered Toastmasters club, we got up to 20.
So up until that point, you really weren't a chartered club?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah, we were trying to form a club.
Got
and
it.
we're unable to reach the membership.
Toastmasters clubs, a lot of them are in companies and businesses have them, right? I mean, they donate their rooms and for speeches and stuff. But then there's a lot of clubs that are just clubs and certain organizations that have something to say or some group, and that's what we are. I mean, we're
even company clubs often admit community members who are not employees of the company.
Right.
I'm in a club at Symantec right now, and half the members are not Symantec employees, as an example.
And likewise, you don't have to be a member of Minnesota Atheists to be a member of Freethought Toastmasters. I know several of our members, Freethought Toastmasters is their atheist fix. They've told me that, and it really is. It's a really good way to, I mean, if you can only afford 2 nights a week to get away from home and visit with other atheists, this is a great opportunity.
I think that it's really good training for leaders for Minnesota atheists and the atheist community.
It is that as well.
That we were the second Freethought Toastmasters club that was formed, the first one being Freethinkers in Los Angeles. And there is a third now. I believe it's in Oklahoma, of all places.
One thing I like about the club is the variety of speeches that people do give, in a wide range of subjects too. It's not just atheists and stuff. I mean, we're generally more on the liberal side, but there's all kinds of different people in there. And a few of the speech topics that I had was common biases to prevent correct diagnosis, and then I gave a handout on 15 things to look for when you're making a diagnosis on something that your biases can affect the outcome. I gave a speech on Mount Rushmore, a monument of conquest or a narrative of national glory. It was the book on that, and it talked about Mount Rushmore and how George Washington, Abraham Lincoln and Thomas Jefferson all had a hand in wrestling the land away from the Indians, but that may not have been fair to them. And so those are topics that we discuss, and usually the topics are about human nature, about things that we can improve on, things that people do, that help us, that we're not like religion haters, that we're trying to do good in the community. I mean, it's positive atheism.
And one other thing is that since this is a club that's associated with atheists, not a workplace, you do have a little bit more freedom to choose a topic of your choosing. Because, for example, if I were in a Toastmasters club at work, I would want to filter what kind of subjects I would be willing to talk about.
There was one of our members who attended another club, was thinking of joining at one time, and he gave a speech while he was in this club on the historicity of Jesus, and he was asked not to come back to that club.
Right. We also had somebody who went to Toastmasters because he had screwed up his interviews, his job interviews, and he needed help on communicating, because if he could get through a speech in front of people, that would help him trying to give a speech about himself to an interviewer for a half hour.
Sure.
And that kind of thing is very helpful. And George and I were at the state fair, and we talked to people. We were promoting Freethought, or we were promoting Toastmasters at the state fair. But we talked to people there about Toastmasters and how to join the club and what things that we have for other people. So.
And when you do join Toastmasters, they help you get started with your first speech. When you join, you get a manual, which the first speech, you talk about yourself, which that's a really good icebreaker. That's what it's called, the icebreaker speech. And the first manual has 10 speeches in it, and they help you get comfortable with giving speeches. They have various goals you want to achieve, such as, let's see what.
How to say it, organize your speech.
Vocal variety.
Yep, that was my last one.
I gave a speech on discussion of debt, national debt, and government debt, and consumer debt, and business debt, and financial debt, and how they all affect everything.
You can fit many speeches into the topics that they want you to achieve to, but it's nice to have a little bit of a starting point and challenge you a little bit. That's how you learn.
Sure. The Toastmaster member selects the topics for all of his speeches, but there are guidelines, goals to work towards in the different speeches. That, one, for example, is to be persuasive. Another is to inspire your audience.
And we also have contests.
Yes.
Just this next month, we're going to have a contest on humorous speaking and table topics. Where table topics are where somebody gives you a topic and you're supposed to give a 3-minute.
No, 1 to 2 minutes.
1 to 2 minute discussion of that topic, and then it's going to be graded. So it's a contest, and then they go from the area to the district to the.
From area to division to district.
Right. Area
And what's
division.
neat is like the area, I mean, if you win our club, you get to go to the area contest, which you get to compete then against people in 5 other neighboring clubs and make them uncomfortable if you have a topic that's related to atheism, which is...
Well, in the spring, there's an international contest, and then there's also a tall tales contest. And I went to those at the division level, and it was. And I mean, some of these speakers were really good, and you could see, and I could see what I would have to do to get to that level, And then you have to be creative, and you have to be ready to take chances. But if you pick a good topic and you speak well and you just prepare. You can do good speeches. You can communicate with people so that they really have an effect on their thinking, and you can actually get your ideas across.
Yeah, you learn things like vocal variety and using hand gestures and just communicating to your audience.
Yep. And after the member finishes the Competent Communicator Manual, he gets a Competent Communicator Award. And then there are 15 advanced manuals that cover a really wide variety, such as interpretive reading, speaking to inform, speaking on video,
storytelling,
yep,
all kinds of topics,
technical presentations, discussion leader.
And when you finish your first Competent Communication Manual, your first one, you get to choose which 2 manuals you have, and Toastmasters will send it to you for free, which is nice.
Yep.
Or you can go into our area, which is we've elected as officers, so we have to kind of prepare the meetings, prepare the contests, make sure that the people the people who need help in the education part, that they actually get it. Make a schedule out for all the things that Toastmasters want to do. So it's really an education for communication. And there's a wide variety of topics that we discuss.
Because in addition to the Competent Communication Manual, you're also given one when you join for leadership, and you get to mark off the different roles that you perform, such as grammarian and timer, and you can have people rate you on how well you do those. So it's not just speaking, it's the different roles as well, and making sure that you're performing them well.
Right. I wanted to get back to the point that Ron was making earlier about the types of speeches. And true, their speech does not have to be on topics of interest specifically to atheists. But members can speak on these topics comfortably. In our club, and probably no other club in the district. And some of the speeches that we've had, Lee Salisbury, who is a former member of the board as well as a former preacher, evangelical preacher, has given wonderful speeches on the historicity of Jesus. And I've given many speeches on separation of church and state issues, and especially issues that are very current at the time, because preparing speeches for this club sometimes ties in with the column that I'm writing for the newsletter. So there's a handshake there. I've given speeches on ethics, which is not a topic you're likely to be addressing in any other club, but I've spoken on consequentialist ethics.
I gave a speech as well. I'm an advocate that the Day of Reason, I don't think, is enough of a thing for atheists to hang on. That we need a day of reason, knowledge, honesty, and wisdom. Oh. In that, reason could be used against things as well. Whether you use reason to get out of things, but we want honesty and knowledge and wisdom is really what we're talking about, and not just ways to figure things out. It's more to be a good person and to make a good life for yourself. And then the communication is always something that you're going to use always. And that's my point I'm trying to make, is that there's more to it than just that.
Heather, a few minutes ago you mentioned triple round robin table topics. Now, some people who are in our audience who have been Toastmasters for many years have probably never heard of that. So do you want to tell us about that? Yeah,
it's a unique thing that we do. We meet the first and third Sundays of every month. Mondays of every month. And on the first Monday we do the tabletop round robin. Yes. Round robin the first Monday, and the third Monday we do the table topics. So the round robin is, after the speeches have been given, we break out into, we generally have 3 tables, about 4 or 5 or so people at each table, and at each table we choose a topic that was the topic of one of the speeches that we want to talk about, and we go around the table. We first have a minute to speak, and then after everybody's gone around and talked about the topic, we do 2 minutes, and then we talk about the topic again for a minute. And if you can't find something to talk about on the topic that your table has chosen, you can skip, or you can maybe strew the topic in a little bit different way on something that you can talk on. So it's a great way to make sure everybody gets to talk, and it really does make sure that you can talk on your feet, and it does help the confidence.
Right. And that's unique to our club. It was an idea of a former member, Laura Hutt, who was also a former member of the board of directors of Minnesota Atheists. And she originated actually in a different club that no longer exists. So I believe that we're the only club that uses this method. Standard table topics that we use in the third meeting occurs in every Toastmasters club, and that's where you have one person designated as the topic master, and he asks a question and calls on someone. One other way that our club is unlike most clubs is that we give good prizes.
Yes. George always brings in chocolate bars and licorice and peanuts, that the winner of table topics round robin and the speakers, of course the person that wins of the speakers gets to go up and choose from all these goodies that we have, and it's a neat reward, and we usually share with the people at our table, if not everyone, and it's a neat little bonus.
I think that our club has a unique feel to it too. There's a camaraderie that different clubs have. Well,
we have a solstice party as well in December, where we try to sell things, and it's a fundraiser for our club, but we sell things, and we usually eat at a restaurant afterwards. So there's a lot of camaraderie with the people.
Exactly.
And you get to know the people, and you make friends with them.
And we definitely vary in age and gender, and.
Yep.
Not as much for nationality, but that changes, and we've had people of different nationalities.
True.
Oh, and Norman, he was a member for quite a while. He's from Germany.
Yes, when Norman joined our club, in fact, the topic of one of my speeches, a speech that I gave, was about the Freidenker movement of German immigrants, many of whom were freethinkers, who were anti-clerical, who were forced to leave Germany after the failed revolution of 1848. And so, another aspect of the climate of our club that I think is unique is that we have wine and beer
Yes,
that
that's nice.
members can drink, and that is very unusual. For
Drink a little bit of
Toastmasters
wine
Club.
before giving a speech.
Right. Toastmasters was formed by Dr. Ralph Smedley in Santa Ana, California, and he was a devout teetotaler. It was his intention.
funny.
There would never be alcohol at any Toastmasters
Well, we are in a
event.
new age, aren't we?
That's
And we're
right.
heathens.
Yes, we're heathens as well. So, yes.
Yeah. If people want to join Freethought Toastmasters, we charge no club dues. The only dues are the payments that have to be made to Toastmasters International, and that's $36 for 6 months.
And it's well worth it. I mean, they give you material. They have a website where you can download information from, and you get a magazine every month, which I'm sure you can opt out of if you really want to, but there's really good stuff in there. It's given me ideas for table topics and speeches, and just helped me grow and given me like good advice for.
Every other program in public speaking is much more expensive than the $36. But that's paid April 1st and October 1st. And that's the only cost. Not only do you get all the manuals, but it pays for a plaque that you get when you become a distinguished Toastmaster.
Right. There's a as Vice President of Education, there's a system that Toastmasters has where you eventually as you do more speeches and you get farther along in prizes and awards, and so there is a goal that you can match. There is a place where you can actually get better, and there's goals that help you along.
Well, this discussion has really flown by. I've had a lot of fun with it, and thank you both for coming. And I'd wish great success to the club, except that would be self-gratulatory because I'm in the club myself. So if you're interested in joining Freethought Toastmasters, please get in touch with us at the web address that you've seen during the show. And if you're interested in Minnesota Atheists and not a member of that, if you send us your email address, we'll put you on distribution for our weekly calendar of events. And if you send us your postal address, we'll send you one issue of our newsletter. And we're very interested in hearing from you, because if you're interested in us, we're interested in you.